I see posts about friends having long, meaningful relationships, how they get excited to see their partner after a long day at work or still feel butterflies for them after years of being together. Do you consider being comfortable with each other as love too? If that person makes your life easier, would you consider it love too? How do you make it last? How do you make it work? Do the feelings of being in love just stay? Do you still feel the same way about them after an argument? After silence? What makes you keep fighting for that one person? Story 1. A successful partnership is a beautiful thing. The love and trust you receive from someone who truly supports you is very powerful if you believe in it. Story 2. Been married for 30 years now. Love is both a feeling and a finely tuned machine that requires constant maintenance. My wife and I fell into a rut a few years ago. I was going through a rough patch and didn't have much attention for anyone else. We became like housemates who have probably lived together too long and need to move out. One day, I came out of my fog and decided I had a choice. Either stay and re-romance my wife or get a divorce. It was not an easy choice, but I decided to stay. I started asking her out on dates, planning ahead. Do you want to have a date night on Thursday? I worked at it, which led her to let go of some of her long-standing resentments and romance me a bit too. Things are much better these days. It is easy to get complacent, but constant maintenance, even when times are tough, is the best way to stay out of divorce court. Story 3. Being in love with someone is a feeling. Loving someone and loving them properly is a choice. Things can be tough sometimes in life, of course, but to love someone means to will the good for them. When you are married to someone, doing everything in your power to love them properly is the highest priority. I believe this also means doing all you can to align loving that other person with being in love with them, as the latter makes the former much easier to do. There are also many small good faith habits you can maintain, especially as a man, to make that easier on your part. Story 4. You like each other. You force yourselves to remember that the little things are just that, little, not worth fretting over. If or when hormones decide to trip you up, remember that it is an 18-month high at best. Ignore it or remove yourself from the situation. You chose the person you are with for a reason. You have a known quantity. The journey is not over yet. Realize that you both change over time, mentally and physically. The biggest compliment my wife and I have ever received happened in the waiting room at the dentist. I had a day off, though I don't remember why. Both our kids were in elementary school at the time and were getting their teeth cleaned. We were sitting together, holding hands and chatting amicably. The dental hygienist who was cleaning one of the kids came out, saw us and said, "Oh my gosh, you actually like each other?" We knew her. She had cleaned our teeth quite a bit by then. Yes. Why would you get married to someone if you don't like them? Does she do stuff that drives me up a wall? Absolutely. And vice versa. We work on what we can and remember the rest is noise. If you were to hit the rewind button and put me back in time to the day we met, while there are a few things we wish we had done differently, we absolutely would have gotten married just as quickly, if not sooner. Now, if they are abusive, get out. Story 5. Love is a feeling at first, but a choice for the rest of your life. You choose your partner every time you decide to love them. You can choose not to take them for granted. Story 6. A lot of long-term relationship is choice. I choose not to obsess over attractive women. I choose not to put myself in situations where I would be tempted. I choose to put her welfare and happiness near the top of my priorities. I choose to control my instinctive impulses. Self-control requires discipline and will. Story 7. My wife and I just celebrated 39 years together. I could not imagine my life without her. She is my partner, my teammate, my best friend, my everything. Her happiness is my #1 priority. I still think she is beautiful and attractive. We still share an intimate connection regularly. I honestly hope I die first. I do not know what I would do without her. I would be a lost mess. Story 8. Loving somebody is a choice. Being in love is just a feeling. The feeling of being in love will come and go like any other emotion, but if you love them, you work through the hard times together. Story 9. Honestly, for me, it was as simple as they were my safe space. I felt like I could count on them for anything, and at the same time, I would do anything for them. Anytime I saw them, my worries seemed smaller. Instead of being alone in the dark, I was in the dark with them, which made life worth living. Sadly, it did not work out. It might be obvious, but I am having trouble moving on. If both parties felt that way, I would not have minded going my whole life not achieving anything. I would not have minded it because we would have our little corner of the world simply by being together. Story 10. When I was young, I heard someone describe their long marriage as boring bliss, and that always stuck with me. I have been married for 28 years now and still adore my wife. I guess I am just lucky. Story 11 could be a combination, a feeling, and a choice. Wanting to wake up next to them, going to sleep wrapped up in them, talking to them, living life together. I have been with the same man for 11 years, married for 9. I only want to be with him, nobody else. Once you find your person, you make it work. Being single or sleeping around with different people does get boring. You just have to find someone compatible with you, and you figure things out together as a team. Story 12. I don't fight for one person because it is not a fight. We do not argue. There is no effort to stay in love. I just am. I do not get the whole "how do you do it" thing. You find the right person and you are done. I have been married for 21 years, and we have been together for 28. Story 13. Been married for 32 years. There is a principle of taking care of the other person over yourself. If both people apply it equally, it can be incredible. Story 14. I do not want to leave my boyfriend only to spend the rest of my life trying to find him again. Story 15. If love is just a feeling, your question is very valid. Luckily, it is not. Love is both a feeling and a choice. The feeling part can come and go. The choosing and acting part is what makes it long-term and consistent. Story 16. Being in love is a feeling and state of mind. It will come and go over the years. Loving your partner is an everyday choice. It is the actions you take every single day, choosing them over everyone else, being kind, understanding, and having their back. Story 17. So, it is a messy thing. Love is a choice. Feelings of infatuation are usually involuntary. You have to keep in mind that you are only able to see the outside of someone else's perfect relationship, and that is often heavily curated online. It does not make sense to compare your own relationship with anyone else's. People change, so love changes along with them. You can be absolutely obsessed with someone and still realize they are not right for you, or they could be perfect for you on paper and you feel absolutely nothing for them romantically. There is not really a one-size-fits-all answer to your questions, but the biggest thing you can control is your communication and willingness to be honest with yourself and with your partner. Story 18. Stop romanticizing people. Social media posts show only what they want you to see, either to impress or to deceive themselves into believing they are great. You will ask yourself fewer questions. Story 19. Love is a feeling. Marriage is a choice. Millions of people throughout history have successfully stayed married to partners they do not love. Maybe they married for money or status. Maybe they got lonely and settled. Maybe it was arranged, and they are both just making the best of it. The reverse is also true. You can love someone desperately, but things just do not work out. The point is, love and marriage, or relationships in general, frequently have little to do with each other. Story 20. I love my wife. After 30 years together, there are times when both of us need to work to keep our relationship alive. A Reddit user posted that it is like a roller coaster. It is a good analogy. Story 21. My husband and I sometimes argue a lot, and I hate it. However, I told him that the only reason we stay together after arguing and tolerate each other is because of the love we have for one another. If I ever argued like this with someone I did not love, I would never want to see their face again. So yes, we argue, but we still love each other the same after every unpleasant argument. Story 22. My wife is my best friend. I am far better off with her than without her. Our 22nd anniversary is in a few weeks. I am taking her to dinner tonight because it is important to keep the marriage going and not succumb to burnout and distractions of daily life. I love her. Story 23. Love is mainly a choice. Feelings of affection are involved, but it is ultimately a choice. If I am married and I see my wife is tired but she is doing the dishes, I will tell her to go rest and I will finish them. Why? Because I love and care about her. Most people who have been together for decades will tell you that their relationship goes through seasons. Sometimes you feel like you have been with the wrong person, but your active commitment to one another despite that is what helps you see the light at the end of the tunnel. We may get into an argument and I will be upset with her, but I will still choose to rub her feet at the end of the day because I love her. I do that gesture to show it because she was probably wearing heels all day and her feet may be hurting. We can postpone the discussion and resolution for a more opportune time. If we operated based on feelings alone, we would all be single. Affection is, I am with you when things are great. Love is, I am still with you even when they are not. Story 24. It's both a feeling and a choice. In the beginning, you have all the rush of excitement, passion, and the feeling of butterflies. But eventually, that fades, whether after a few months or a few years. What you should be left with after that is the feeling that you found your person, the one who jumps around with joy with you in the good times and links arms with you as backup in the bad times. Choices come into it because you make choices about love almost every day. From little choices like showing your partner affection to let them know you care, to big choices like walking away when offered something on a plate because that person means so much to you. Arguments happen, tough times happen, and life is a roller coaster. But real love is the feeling reinforced by choices that endures all. Story 25. Never liked the choice thing. I can't help but love my wife. I originally chose to go out with her, and now I love her. It never faded. It has only grown. Moving in with each other, getting engaged, having 2 kids, getting married. All the ups and downs, the hard times and the good times. She is my ride or die, my other half. I love her more than I ever thought possible. And it grows every day. Story 26. I think a lot of people are looking for the right person instead of being the right person. For the purposes of your question, that person is someone who can be excited to see their significant other every night, someone who enjoys being comfortable and stable, and someone who can love and be loved. To answer your question, it is a choice. It is more about choosing to be the kind of person who has successful relationships and experiences love, rather than simply choosing to be in love. I hope that distinction makes sense. This is not to say that those kinds of relationships are inherently superior. It just seems like the kind you want. Also, being the right person does not mean being a pushover or settling for and making it work with someone who is not right for you. I felt that caveat was necessary. Story 27. I think a lot of people are able to naturally add romantic attraction, sexual compatibility, and time spent together into being a loving, committed relationship, but many people, especially those who have been hurt in relationships, become jaded or skeptical, putting up walls or unable to fully trust others. Some people are not built for life partnerships or long-term relationships. It is like telling a neurodivergent person to just act normal, which eventually makes them miserable. It is important to recognize that idealistic models are often presented to us, but much of the human population and our ancestors exist because 2 people had children, not necessarily because they wanted to spend their lives together or raise a child. Story 28. It's easy. Once you are in love, the other person will be the most beautiful person in the world to you, and no one else can compare. If you never think or feel this, you are not in love. Story 29. Been married over 10 years now. I would call it a feeling, like you could not imagine your life without the other person. You are best friends, you have built memories together, and you were there when your story began. You have been through tough times and fun times and have always had each other's back. That is how you do it. Story 30. Love is a growing feat. Love evolves. Love will guide you both to a relationship beyond the big easy. When you find true love, it does not get any better. Story 31. Both, and it is a choice, but it is deeper than that. It is a commitment. I think it has to be mutual because if not, feelings will fade as promises are broken. To me, love is a verb. It is an action just as much as an emotion. I think it is for many men, as we prioritize action over emotion. The reverse is true for women, and I think that leads to a lot of confusion between the sexes if things get out of balance. I met my wife when I was 23, 33 years ago, and I love her still. Simple as that. Story 32. I was told it is a roller coaster. Some days you do not want to be away for a second, and some days you cannot stand being in the same room. Story 33. I don't think you can choose love any more than you can choose who you love. Love is something that happens to you. Story 34. Love is a one-way street. You need to hope whoever it is directed at feels the same towards you. If you are the type of person to have some connection to the quantum universe, this will allow you access to gut feelings like future events. You hope you do not see or feel something bad about this person you likely still love. Story 35. Staying in romantic love is a lot of work. You have to be motivated. Then she cheats. Then you stay because of the kids. Then you are old, and there is no reason to leave because life is almost over, and you don't feel like giving half your things to a cheating spouse. You stay married and head out on an epic adventure to the Dannean Gap. Oh yeah, that's just me. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.